Okay, so in today's update about ICP, I want to check out specifically this part of the price action and see what is happening in this area and why do I believe in ICP. At the moment, we are kind of having a big problem and we should be right now a bit concerned. So with that said, hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you're having a great time with your family and loved ones. And first things first, in terms of overall structures, I still believe this is some sort of a corrective movement, and right in here we are going to mark our final low. But this doesn't mean, for example, in ICP we're not going to do something like this and then get our bounce back. No, we can do it, but again, overall I think this important support area from weekly and daily time frame at the same time is going to hold, and the lower band of it is about, let's say, $4.7, and the higher band of it is somewhere around $5.8. So overall, I do think right around these areas in ICP we are going to have our final low. But whether the final low is already in or not, okay, that's kind of up for debate. And also the fact that between the previous lows in here in MACD, we are having bullish divergences can be a very bullish sign, indicating in this phase at least bears are indeed running out of power. Now, having said that, let's zoom in more and maybe go on 30-minute time frame, see what is happening. If you remember, in the previous ICP updates, I was saying if you want to say that the final low is already in, then okay, probably your best shot at finding an impulse is if you say these are a series of 1-2s, meaning this is 1 and 2 and then another 1 and 2 on a lower degree. And if this scenario is happening, what you need to see in ICP is a continuation of the move up into a series of wave 3, 4, 5s. And I was saying, because so far in here I'm identifying some kind of slow and choppy moves on the upside, I'm not really going to be bullish in here with a lot of confidence. And once we get a very strong move in order to get out of this area, you are going to see me at that point changing my tone a bit about ICP. So what happened? We did get a move on the upside, but now we are getting kind of a strong move down, and this, from my point of view, is kind of a big deal, and I'm going to tell you why. Let's just delete waves in here. Okay, now here is what I have in my mind at the moment. At first, let's check out the bullish scenario, and if you really insist to be bullish on ICP, I think you can say maybe this is going to be like a 1, 2, 3, 4 to about here or here, doesn't really matter. Another move up into wave 5, and from this point we can have an A, B, C in form of an expanded flat, which looks like this. Let's just do this. Okay, in terms of the subwaves, ABC down into A, ABC, or maybe a WXY on the upside into B, not really important, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down into wave C. Now let's go on the live charts and count some waves. So right away, this is my first problem with this structure. You see, to me, this kind of is an impulse and not a corrective movement. But you know, let's say I am actually wrong, and this is some sort of a 3-wave movement, possibly an ABC zigzag. Okay, fair enough. Now, in here, I think you can also say this is another ABC, this time on the upside, and from this point, this is a 1 correction for wave 2 to about here or here, not really important. Big move down into wave 3, and if this is the case, okay, what we need to see in here is a correction for 4 and then also another move down into wave 5. And in this area we want to see a very strong recovery in ICP in order for us to talk bullish with just a bit more confidence. Overall, I'm telling you, this is the bullish scenario, do not get me wrong. But the reason that I'm showing you this is because I want to be 100% objective, and you know my stance on being objective. Any analyst at any given moment should be able to come up with a bullish and also a bearish possibility at the same time. And this is in the interest of that. Overall, I'm not liking this possibility. That's why this is going to be my alternate case. Now let's talk about my primary scenario, and let's just zoom in more. Okay, so in my primary scenario, I told you, in my opinion, this is probably a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave impulsive structure down, and also from this point we are having most likely a wave 1 correction for 2, big move up into wave 3 correction for 4, and possibly another move on the upside into wave 5 to about this point. Now right away you can definitely see what is the problem. So far, if you want to say this is an impulse and this is another impulse, well, okay, between them we are probably having a correction, maybe an ABC zigzag, or maybe even an ABC flat, not important. And well, on a higher degree, this might be just a simple ABC zigzag on the upside and not an impulse, which means in ICP we may see some more moves on the downside in order to take the lowest slope down here about, let's say, $4.850. Is this scenario guaranteed to happen? No, there is no certainty in any market. We are only talking about the probabilities, but even according to probabilities, from my point of view, this doesn't really look optimistic. And why is this move down kind of a big problem? Because in it, we actually took the low of our supposedly B leg right in here about, let's say, $5.6. So this move down, in other words, kind of did confirm this possibility, this ABC zigzag structure. Now, I want to be very clear. This doesn't mean that in the short term, maybe like in the next couple of days, we cannot have a move up. No, nothing goes straight up or down. That's why I want to say, after completing this structure, you are going to see a pullback in ICP, but the pullback itself is not really going to matter. You need to pay full attention to the shape of this pullback. If this is going to be kind of a slow and choppy move up, that is a big problem, indicating that the next move is going to be on the downside. On the other hand, if we see in here a very strong recovery phase, maybe like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in order to get out of this area, you know what, at that point, maybe I am able to consider the bullish scenario just a bit more. But for now, based on what I'm seeing, this chart doesn't really give me a lot of hope and confidence just for the short term. So let's have our final conclusion and wrap up today's update about ICP. Overall, I think starting from this low to about this high, according to my primary case, we are having some sort of a corrective movement and not an impulsive structure, which says, well, okay, at one point we may see another move down in order to take this low. Is it going to be a bad sign? No. In fact, for me, when we go down and do something like this, I am actually going to add more ICP to my portfolio in hope to get my average purchase under $6. Who knows, hopefully even under $5.50. And why am I buying ICP around these areas? Because overall, in the mid to long term, I do still believe that the structures look optimistic and we are going to have the next phase of the bull run. So in terms of overall structures, do not get me wrong, I am still optimistic. Having said that, in the short term, I think we may do something like this. Odds are this is a 1 correction for 2, big move down into wave 3, and you are going to see probably another move down into this wave 5, and then it makes perfect sense to expect some sort of a recovery. But this doesn't matter. You need to pay attention to the shape of this recovery, and I think we are going to at that point make new updates and talk about what is happening in this area. But just understand this: if this is going to be a very slow and choppy move in order to get to about these areas and then we get a direction, that's a bad sign, suggesting our move down in internet computer is going to continue for quite a bit. On the other hand, if we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in order to get out of this area, okay, I guess that can be an optimistic sign, suggesting maybe the bullish scenario is in play. But for now, based on what I'm seeing on the live chart, I don't really have a lot of confidence in the bullish possibility. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in internet computers charts. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.